I go down this tunnel. So iBuyDirect actually sent me over a little care package, and they included this, it's like a 400 in one little Game Boy thing, I guess, if you will. Honestly, I've been playing with this every day, and I actually love this thing. And like I said, there's like 400 games in here. That's cool. This is definitely going in my bag wherever I go. Shout out iBuyDirect. Thank you guys for sending this over. Anyways, what's going on, everyone? I hope you guys are having a wonderful, wonderful week. First off, just want to say thank you to everyone who's been showing all their love and support recently on my channel. You guys are the motivation that keeps me inspired and driven to kind of keep making these videos. So truly, thank you guys, and let's all give a round of applause for all of you. Now, today's video is actually going to be a follow-up from my recent ZV-E1 review video, and I'll leave that somewhere up top here so that you guys can check that out if you guys want. But some of you guys had asked to see my equipment and camera gear that I use pretty much every day, so that is essentially what we're going to be doing in today's video. Now, for all the gear mentioned in today's video, I'll actually leave a link to my Amazon in the description box below in case some of you guys were interested in checking these out for yourself. But I think without further ado, let's jump right into it. First up, let's talk bags. This is the Kaden backpack, and this is pretty much the main bag that I carry around from like day trips, when I'm headed out to shoot like outfit photos, or even just going to a coffee shop. You know, I can put my camera in here, a few accessories, and actually a few lenses. It actually has a laptop sleeve inside as well. So I actually like the small shape of this bag, and I've actually been using it for about a year now, and no complaints so far. Second is this travel bag that I got recently. This one is from PGY-TECH, and it's the OneMo Lite. Now, I bought this one recently for longer trips, and I haven't actually gotten to test it out yet, so I'll have to report back to you guys once I actually take this for a trip somewhere. But I can basically put everything in here, from my laptop, my cameras, all my lenses if I really wanted to, my drone, literally everything fits into this. This bag actually has handles all around, making it like super easy to carry. Plus, when I'm traveling, the back actually has a luggage handle built into it so that you can slide this onto the back of your carry-on, so you don't have to wear yourself out carrying all this gear all the time. And actually, one more thing that I thought was a super cool feature is this battery compartment here. You can keep all your batteries in here without them like jumbling around, but honestly, that's not the best part. It actually has a power indicator in here, so you can easily see how much power is left in each battery. You kind of just slide the tabs left and right, and honestly, it's the small details like this that sold me on this bag. And next up, we have cameras. Now, I've been shooting with Sony for like 8 or 9 years now. My first Sony was actually the A7 II, and currently I have the A7 IV as my main body. Honestly, this is probably my favorite camera ever. It's got a 33 megapixel sensor and it shoots 4K, so it pretty much can handle anything that I throw at it. Now, if you guys watched my previous video, you know that I recently picked up the ZV-E1 as a main vlogging camera, and it's currently what we're filming on right now. I definitely love my A7 IV, but you know, I just wanted something a little bit more small and compact to carry around. And since the ZV-E1 has the internals of the FX3 or the A7S III, I've been pretty much picking this camera up almost every day to use. So now, prior to that camera, I was actually vlogging with the Sony ZV-1, and I can definitely recommend this camera if you're new and just getting into vlogging. It's super simple to use. The image quality is really good out of it. You know, obviously the only downside that I didn't really like about it is that it had a fixed lens. Because for me, I didn't really like the view that the arm's length kind of gave. I felt like it was too narrow and it was like too punched in on your face. And so that's why I actually added this little wide angle onto it too. So my Char's currently using this camera and she loves it. I honestly think she gets just as excited to vlog as much as I do nowadays. Next up, let's talk glass. The two main ones that I use are the 16-35 2.8 and this 35mm 1.4. Now, the 16-35 is pretty much my main lens and what lives on my camera 90% of the time, whether it be for traveling or even just like everyday filming, because it pretty much covers everything that I need. It's a nice ultra wide zoom lens that can capture like landscape, or it can even get some really nice close-ups at 35mm. That's why I have this on most of the time. Plus, with the 2.8 f-stop, I can pretty much carry this around even at night and not really have to worry about cranking my ISOs up too much and getting like noisy footage or introducing more noise into your clip. As far as the 35mm, this was actually their first 1.4 prime lens that they had introduced for their Sony FE system, and this was actually my first G Master lens as well. This lens was actually pretty expensive when I bought it at the time. I think it was around I think $1,200 or something like that back in 2014, but you know, I love it. It's a classic focal length, and I mostly use this lens for like B-roll or anytime I want that really shallow depth of field or bokeh. This lens is super sharp, even wide open all the way, and you know, definitely something that I keep in the arsenal all the time. Now, I also have this 24mm that we're currently shooting on right now. It's also a 1.4 f-stop G Master lens, and I pretty much use this one as a main lens all the time too, when I don't really want to have to carry around like the bigger 16-35. For me personally, I like shooting with prime lenses for their low light performance, and the fact that they're smaller and lighter, meaning less weight that I gotta carry around. And trust me when I say you can definitely get a arm workout from carrying these big lenses around all day. So anytime I can shave off some weight off of my camera or carry less, I definitely will. And one final mention is this 85mm 1.8. Now, I'll be honest, I don't carry this one around too much, but I know there are a lot of people who swear by this lens for like B-roll and stuff like that. But I think it's a super fun lens to shoot with its like compression and long focal length. I think I just have to experiment with it a little bit more, but I don't know. I've always liked the idea of having long focal lengths, like a 70-200 or something like that. So that's why I got this 85, just to cover a little bit of that range. Maybe I'll take this out more this year and we'll experiment with this guy. How'd this get in here? I do have a few other like specialty type cameras that I use. The first is this GoPro 10. I love having this around for mostly like time lapses or anything like water sports related or anything like that. Or honestly, just as a like super small camera that, I can stick into tiny spaces that I normally would not be able to with my regular Sony bodies. And I actually only took this camera with me on my last trip to New York in November. You just press one button to turn it on and another button to record, and that's it. Not a whole lot of settings to mess around with, and the image quality is actually really good for such a tiny little camera. Then we have the DJI Mini 3 Pro. Now, I bought this one recently to travel with, and honestly, I've been loving it so far. No complaints with it. I love how small and lightweight it is. It easily fits into my backpack or even my pockets if I really wanted to. It has really good battery life, and it handles wind surprisingly really well for how small it is. It has a dedicated vertical shooting mode for like Instagram and stuff like that. I actually took this drone with me on my last trip to Hawaii, and I was honestly a little afraid that I wouldn't be able to handle like the strong winds that were out there, but it held up super well out there. I didn't have any problems at all. We were able to get some really cool shots out there. I don't know, maybe I was a bird in my past life or something like that, but I truly just love flying this thing, and I love being up in the air, and I don't know, it feels good up there. I love it. Now, I don't know about everyone else, but I personally don't like the idea of using my iPhone as a monitor, and that's why I opted for this RC controller. Not only do I feel like the setup time is faster and more efficient with this controller, I don't really like the idea of being mid-flight and all of a sudden somebody calls me and I gotta use my phone, or I need to use my phone in case of an emergency or something like that. I just think that sounds like a recipe for disaster, and push a button! Probably not something that I want to gamble with, so that's why I opted for this guy. And then I have my iPhone 14 Pro Max, and everyone talks about how the best camera is the one that's always with you, and I honestly could not agree more. I actually use my phone a lot for shooting, and you just can't beat it sometimes. It's got 3 lenses in one already, and you most likely already have this with you, so no need to carry around like extra gear or anything like that. And there are definitely times where you don't want to have to carry around like a big camera, like let's say in a restaurant or something like that. I would definitely say if you have an iPhone that can shoot at least 4K, you already have a pretty solid camera for like content creating or anything of that nature if you wanted to. And lastly, I want to go through a few accessories that are always with me. For microphones is the ECM B1. I'm currently using that right now. Now, I love this one in particular because it just attaches to the hot shoe without any extra dangling cables, and it just looks much cleaner, and the sound quality is amazing in my opinion. I've been using just the internal mic since I bought this camera, but I think my standards for quality are pushing me to use the shotgun mic a little bit more, so we're just gonna have to suck it up if we get some looks or whatever. Oh, I also have this wireless mic set from Hollyland. Now, they sent me these to try out recently, like last week. I haven't done a lot of testing on it yet, so as soon as I get to testing them out some more, I'll report back to you guys and let you guys know what I think of it. But based off my first initial test, the audio quality is actually pretty comparable to some of these higher end mics. This is how they look. It has the transmitter and the 2 receivers in case you have 2 people speaking in it, but I love that it comes in this charging case, kind of like AirPods. For my vlogging tripod, the one I carry around religiously is the Mantis Pod Pro from PGYTech. Their quick release system is super easy to use, and I just love how small this tripod is. You have your standard tabletop height, and then you have a lower height, which is super useful in certain situations. And with just a click of a button, you can easily change the angle of this. Plus, it has a built-in peg behind one of the tripod legs, so you can actually hang this off ledges, fences, and stuff like that, so you can get some really cool and creative shots with it. I also forgot to mention that it has a built-in iPhone holder as well. Very cool. While we're on tripods, I have a bunch of others for different scenarios that are actually my favorites. Like this Ruitos Mini, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but that's the name right there. Or this newer one that I'm actually shooting on currently. This tripod actually extends up to 72 inches and has a bunch of different configurations. So the possibilities with this one are endless. For iPhone tripods, I have this Manfrotto tripod that I mainly use at home. And then I also have this one from Atumtech. And I pretty much carry this one with me everywhere. This one actually has a built-in Bluetooth remote for wireless shooting. And you know, I love that it actually folds up super small and compact. Like, look at this. Fits into your pocket. When you need it, you pretty much just pull this guy up, open it up, and there you have it. iPhone tripod on the go with a wireless remote. And then when you're done with it, just kind of close it up like that and it's good to go. Literally, it can fit into your pocket, into your backpack, and you don't even know it's there. I honestly couldn't even tell you guys how many times I've been out and, you know, I forgot a tripod, but then I remember that I always have this in my bag. And you know, it's definitely saved my ass a few times. So this always stays with me. And as you guys can tell, I'm a little fan of PGYTech and honestly wish they would sponsor a future video. We'll put this into the galaxy and we'll manifest it and hopefully it happens. But anyways, essentially this clips into a backpack strap so that you can quickly access your camera without having to, you know, pack it up every single time. I think it's super useful for like hikes, street photography, or, you know, pretty much anything for that matter. Having your camera out and ready at all times is super important. I personally don't like having to put my camera away after every use. It's just so much more useful to be able to have it out all the time, and I just think this quick release system is super cool. I actually use this rocket blower thing all the time because when you're out obviously changing lenses out in the field or whatever, you know, you're possibly going to get dust when the sensor is exposed. You know, you got to be able to get it off. Plus I actually like to use it as a little, you know, it's my little fan or whatever, little fan pump, manual fan pump. And so that pretty much covers all my camera gear that I have. And so for me personally, I try to make mindful decisions when purchasing gear, and I try to keep everything as minimal as possible to kind of try and reduce, you know, the amount of weight that I have to carry around. When I'm out vlogging, it's usually like a run and gun type situation. So I don't really have time to like swap lenses or even set up a full tripod sometimes. So I make sure that whatever I bring with me at that time is going to be able to like get the job done well and, you know, efficiently. And that's pretty much going to do it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and please hit that like button and subscribe if you guys have not already. I would truly appreciate it. And if you guys have any suggestions on videos that you might want to see from me in the future, please drop those in the comments below. But I actually have to get back to saving Peach, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bro, I died. Tight.